Welcome to Anchors My Way, a podcast brought to you by Into Cruising. I'm your host, Shakira, and I'm here to take you on an exciting journey through the world of cruising. Whether you're an experienced cruiser or just planning your first trip, I've got something for you. Thank you for joining me today, and let's get started.
Well, hello, Into Cruisers. Welcome to another episode of Anchors My Way. Today, we are going to talk about a question I get asked all the time. And for me, it's one of the hardest questions. So what cruise line should I use for my cruise? I always stay thinking, and I understand that people might not like my answer because everybody is different and opinions vary. So I always say, well, it depends on your priorities. I never give a straight answer or select a line for anybody because I feel that I don't want to be responsible for your experience. I want you to live your own. Like I always say, see for yourselves. Choosing a cruise line, it's a lot of responsibility for somebody. And choosing a cruise line, whether it's your first, second, or 50th cruise, can be one of the hardest decisions to make because there's a variety of choices. It comes down to a lot of details, to a lot of personal information, because not all cruise lines are tailored for everyone. And this is something I have experienced throughout my 30th cruise. So the beauty of cruising is that everybody gets to have their special things into one place. So when somebody asks me, what is my favorite cruise line? How do I respond? I don't have a particular one. I like them all. So then they go to their next usual question. Which one should I book? My answer is always the same. It really depends on what you're looking for. They will ask you things like, well, more or less, what are your favorites? I'm like, well, I don't have a favorite one. It all depends on what I'm in the mood for, what kind of cruise I want to do. Sometimes I want to do a party cruise. Sometimes I want to do a relax. It really depends on my mood, my vacation time. It varies. It's a lot of things to consider. I don't like the same things all the time. So to me, I like variation. I like experimenting and I like comparing all these cruise lines. Not everyone enjoys my response because having done 30 cruises, they would think I would be loyal or I would be just, onto one line. That's not me. I'm sorry. I wish I could be like other people that just settle for one line, but I am really not. Having done 30 cruises, they expect for me to come up with a straight answer, which is my favorite line, or not to be beating around the bush. I'm not trying in any sense to deviate the answer. I'm trying to be as honest as possible. So I'm going to explain why I say this. Choosing a cruise line can be based on atmosphere, on the amount of people, the season of the year, the events, the cruise line accommodations itself. Every cruise line has their main assets. For example, Disney concentrates on kids. Royal concentrates on overall family. MSC provides luxury and quality. And Carnival concentrates on your fun. Just to name a few of the major cruise lines. They sometimes have asked me what is my favorite ship. After doing 30, you would think I would have one. I strongly don't. I have a few favorites, but I don't have one special ship that I could tell you. It's really hard because I've done very beautiful ships. I try to explain that I have also done the same cruise with the same cruise line and I've had a total different experience. So I really cannot tell you this is my favorite cruise. I've had perfect sailings. I've had amazing sailings with the amazing people on it, but I'm sorry, sometimes I can't choose. The experience overall comes down to a lot of factors. It really depends on what you want out of cruising. Not everybody's into the same thing. So as an experienced cruiser, I have done all major cruise lines. Princess, Royal, MSC, Celebrity, Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, former Margaritaville at Sea. I'm still missing a few. I have not done them all. I'm still missing Holland American, which I would love to try, Disney, and Virgin Voyages. But overall, I've done the majority of the cruise lines, so I have the right to speak about them. Let me explain to you a little bit of why I say it is very difficult to choose a line. So cruise lines have classes. The same way that cars have models, cruise lines have classes. So it really depends. Even if you're on the same line, your cruise ship might be different. It might offer different things. So it really doesn't say, oh, all the Royals are good or the Carnivals are good or the MSCs are good. It doesn't work that way. They vary in ship's capacity, activities, venues on board. When I first started cruising, my first cruise, and I've already said this, was NCL Sky. It was a beautiful Sun class ship built in 1995. From there, I did a high jump to the Allure of the Seas, which at that time was the biggest cruise ship in the world, with a capacity of 6,780 people. As you can see, there's a huge difference. The atmosphere, the venues, everything on those two ships are totally entirely different. Two different lines, two different atmospheres. The Sky was a great ship and it was a first experience, so I really had nothing to compare it to. It was good entertainment, it was an overall fun weekend. But having gone from that ship to the Allure was a huge transition for me. So I walked into the Allure after doing the Sky, and I was like, oh my God, this is like a total different world. It was this massive cruise ship. I could not believe how much it had inside. The beauty was just outrageous for me, and it caught my eye. And this is how usually people get trapped into, their curiosity and their comparison. And some people actually stay loyal to that line because they see it better. But I always believe there's something out there better, and I always want to try better things and better lines. After Allure experience and having done a really nice Oasis class ship, I unfortunately downgraded. At the time, the person that I was with couldn't do more than a 2-day cruise. So we had to settle for a line called Margaritaville at sea now, but back then it was Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line. It was a 2-day cruise from West Palm Beach to Bahamas. Total different line, total different volume. This was a small ship, super short, fast, crowded, party boat. And there's when I came to realize that each line has their own specialty. They have all something to offer. Their food was good, their entertainment was on point, but there were a lot of people. Just because of the size of the ship, I felt it was overcrowded. We went for a birthday celebration, so there was not a lot I could do. I just kept quiet and let everybody else, it was their first cruise, so I just let everybody else enjoy. But I'm sure you could see the discomfort on my face. I was pretty disappointed. The reason why I was disappointed was because I had already been in two previous ships. I had already seen a medium good sized ship and a real good ship like the Allure. So it was like leaving a Rolls Royce to be in a Toyota, something like that. But I didn't say anything. I just wanted everyone to have a good experience. So I just enjoyed my cruise like I usually do. But it was a downgrade. And that's how I got to do my comparisons. Margarita was not bad. It was just not refurbished. It wasn't colorful. It wasn't colorful. It wasn't pretty. It had nothing to do with the ship that you guys are seeing today. It was a way smaller, a very dark, small pool, super crowded party boat. The entertainment was fun, but the ship service was not good. So we were a large family that was already pressured because everybody wanted to do different things. They didn't realize what was going on. They thought it was that the industry was like that. I kept trying to explain this is not what cruising is all about because back then their service was really bad. So I was disappointed, but I still at the same time couldn't do anything. So when I finally got home, I explained to my significant other that I would actually get him onto doing a cruise, like, for example, the Allure or the Sky, for him to be able to understand what the cruise line industry was all about. So we didn't get to actually book the Allure for like 2 years after that. But when he walked into the Allure, he was like, oh my God, this is a real cruise. It was a total different experience. He started seeing what cruising was really all about. It was a real nice experience. I went on the Allure again. I loved it like I usually do. And that is my preferred class, the Oasis class. If I'm going on Royal, that's the class that I would actually do because it's the one that suits me. But it really depends on what you want to do. So it's really hard to dictate what cruise line you're going to prefer. My advice would be to try a ship from every class to see which is your best class or which one suits you. 10 years of cruising, I'm trying most of them. I can assure you that the demographics of each cruise are different. As I mentioned earlier, I have tried all the lines except Holland, America. Nothing against that line. It's just that their schedules don't work with mine. I've also not tried Disney because it's mainly for kids, and my kids are grown adults. So I really don't have a rush to do it. But I am very interested, and someday I will definitely do a Disney cruise. They attract me because I'm a Disney fan, so I think it'll be interesting to do a kids line. And I hear that the adults also have fun. I also haven't tried Virgin Voyages, but I am going to in the future. I've seen many videos of them, and it doesn't really attract me because I feel like it's a party boat. And the way I see it, I live in Miami, which is a party city, the capital for parties. So I am not going on a cruise looking for a party adventure. That is not my vibe at all, but it could be yours. And they're adults only. So if you're interested, you might want to take a peek. Another thing I don't like about Virgin is that I find them pricey. A lot of people say everything's included on their pricing. I'm sorry, not everything is included. You're paying for everything. They just bundle it up. They give you one price, but they're charging you for everything. So going back to the question I get asked, what do I think would be ideal for me? I'm like, okay, so what are you looking for? If you're looking for family style and overall entertainment, I'm going to say go with Royal. If you're looking, they have activities for everyone. They're really loud on kids and keeping parents and kids entertained. They have Broadway shows that are to die for. That I have to give to Royal. So if you're big on entertainment and if you're a fan of shows, then Royal would be that line for you. Now, if you're in for a classic, relaxed, luxury atmosphere, I say you try MSC. And you might be wondering, is this a new cruise line? A lot of people have not heard of it. They're very famous in Europe. They're a Swiss Italian global cruise line based out of Geneva. It was founded back in 1988, so they are not a new line. They recently joined us in the US, bringing beautiful ships for us to be able to experience and realize what beauty is all about. I have to be very sincere about this. When you're looking for luxury, I have to say you have to give MSC the award. I don't care if it's a 10-year-old ship, if it's a refurbished ship, all their cruises are beautiful. They're the most beautiful ships out there in the industry. I've been to all their US based cruises, the Meraviglia, the Divina, the Magnifica, the beautiful Sea Escape, the Seashore, and I recently took a flight to Barcelona to be able to do their World Europa, the most beautiful ship I've ever seen. I have no words to describe that ship. So I can attest for the elegance on their ships. You might be wondering if MSC is my favorite line, and the answer is no. They are on the top of my list, but you still have to consider other amenities from other lines. So are they the complete line for me? Maybe not, but they are very, very close to what I look for when I go on a cruise line. I have to keep trying other lines and other cruises and other experiences. So I want to be able to compare other lines. So I just can't settle for MSC. I'm sorry. Due to the way that I do cruising, unfortunately, it takes me a lot longer to get to those high-end level services. I could be Diamond Plus on Royal. I could be top of the line on Carnival by now if I had stick to one line, but I like comparing. Another cruise line that I have to point out will be NCL. If you want relaxation, great, beautiful looking spa services, good massages, and overall friendly treatment, you would have to try Norwegian Cruise Lines. Their freestyle cruising allows you to do anything at your own pace. They're not a party boat at all. They're very relaxing. Their food is great. Of course, everybody has to talk about fun and related to Carnival. The truth is, Carnival is the fun ship. They are without a doubt one of the lines that offers the best party life and best entertainment overall on a ship. Their DJs all across the fleet are the best in the industry. So if you like celebrate parties, if you like going on cruises with your friends for a weekend, this would be the ships for you. Although they don't have the best reputation for their food and their aesthetics, on their older ships. I hear amazing comments on their new ships. I have not tried their new ships, but I will for sure try them. So if you're in for like a party cruise or maybe a celebration or hanging out with your buddies, Carnival would probably be the best line for you based on budget and based on their amenities. I think they're the most suitable for this type of situation. So again, it's really hard to guide somebody and tell them which is the best line for them. I've done many different lines. I've actually done the same sailings, and it's always going to be a different experience. That's why there's different cruise lines, different styles, different pricing, different methods. Not everybody will go on the same cruise line. So it really depends on your needs and your taste. I hope you have enjoyed this explanation and have gotten some tips out of it. Choosing the right cruise line can be a little troublesome, but I believe once you try a few, you would be able to choose your favorite one. Stay tuned because on my next episode, we're going to talk about one of the most important things from booking, which is what cabin should I do? Thank you for watching and see you on the next episode.